Hello, mixtresses and mixters. This is mixtressrae. You're watching Mixtress video. So forgive me for the weirdo format today. I know it doesn't look the very, very best, but yesterday I did this ridiculously, it took me forever, as you might imagine, but I have a digital representation of all of my tarot cards, past and present. And because I scanned them in so I could, just enjoy the imagery no matter where I am. And I did this yesterday where I picked my favorite of every single one of my tarot cards. So I just thought I would go through the little slideshow of the major arcana with you guys here today while we talk about, I'm doing a VR to IntuitivelyMatt. So huge thank you to Matt for tagging me in this and for kind of giving me the kick in the ass that I needed. Oh, I need to shut this door. Sorry for my squeaky chair. Sometimes when I'm watching my own videos, I'm like, oh my god, that fucking squeaky chair, dude. I don't know, am I supposed to oil it or something? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is I've emailed myself some of the more pertinent lyrics for the songs that I've chosen. So you guys get a little bit of a spoiler because you can see 3 songs right here on the screen. But, and then I'm just going to kind of go through the cards that are my favorite of those cards, just as a visual representation of what we're going through here. So, like many people, I have made these associations before, but the way that I was doing it, I had a notebook, and every time a card reminded me of a song or vice versa, I would put it in the notebook, and I was just doing it card by card. I wasn't focusing on just the major arcana, which is a good idea just to get started. So I have a playlist, which I will link below, that is a Spotify playlist. I also, if it's not already linked below, then it'll probably show up soon because I'm going to make a YouTube playlist as well. That way, hopefully I'll do it before I upload this video. But, so that way you guys have access to either way you want to listen. Either way that's easiest for you, and that way I can also, because when I was a kid, I wanted to be a music video director. So music videos are very important to me. So some of these songs have great music videos, and people make cool fan videos for things too sometimes. So I will try to find the coolest visual representation that is available currently on YouTube to make my playlist, so that if you're a person that likes to sit back and watch some music videos, you can do that if you want. Okay, so this is funny because I just recently gave my Moonchild Tarot away, so I don't have it anymore, but this is absolutely my favorite Fool card of all time. I think I'm gonna try to turn the brightness up on my super old crazy monitor. Is that better? I think so. I don't know if you're gonna be able to read the lyrics and everything. You guys can see my little mottos. Take the purple pill. Do it now. Be ready later. So for me, I hate that a lot of sort of gross biggity hate groups have adopted the idea of taking a pill a la The Matrix. I think that's a gross misunderstanding of the themes in the movie The Matrix. My idea of taking the purple pill is that, I want to go down the rabbit hole and find the truth, but I also want to live in a fantasy world. I want to do both, so I'm going to take the purple pill. And also, I have PMDD, which is basically PMS extreme, and so it's also a double meaning because whenever I'm, in my huge PMS symptoms once a month, I take Pamprin, which is a purple pill. And it helps. It helps take the edge off. Okay, anyway, you guys, I haven't made a video in a week and I forgot how to do it. Plus I'm a little bit hungover on a Wednesday morning because one of my coworkers and friends, she just turned 21. Such a baby. So we took her out last night. Anyway, shut the fuck up and start talking about something. It's already 5 minutes in. Okay, so I picked A Mistake by Fiona Apple for the Fool. And I'm going to read you some of the lyrics. I don't know how you did it, Matt, because he had a really well edited video where he had like clips of the music in the video. I don't know how you do that without getting copyright strikes. So I'm not going to take the chance, so I'm just going to read some lyrics. Why I think that this matches with the Fool. I'm going to do it on purpose. I'm going to waste my time because I'm full as a tick and I'm scratching at the surface and what I find is mine. I'm really going to try not to sing it because I want to so bad. When the day is done and I look back and the fact is I had fun fumbling around. All the advice I shunned and I ran where they told me not to run, but I sure had fun. So I'm going to fuck it up again. I'm going to do another detour, unpave my path. And if you want to make sense, what you're looking at me for, and this reminds me of my tattoo, if you want to make sense, what you're looking at me for, I'm no good at math. And when I find my way back, the fact is I just may stay or I may not. I have acquired quite a taste for a well-made mistake. This was a hard one, The Fool, to pick. I also kind of wanted to use Kate Bush's Cloud Busting. I think that's another one that's really good as a Fool card. But this is going to be a living document kind of playlist. Like if you see this video sometime in the future and you click on the link for one of these mixes, some of these songs might be switched out because that's just how it is. Let's go on to the Magician. So my favorite Magician card is from Modern Witch Tarot. I just think it's just breathtaking. The colors are so beautiful and it's also a traditional Rider-Waite-Smith Magician, but it's just elevated so much. I love the like gorgeous like lavender cliff that all the elements are on. I just love everything about this card. I generally, since this is the image that's on the cover of the Modern Witch box, I generally have the Modern Witch box kind of in display on my shelf so I can just look at this image all the time. Anytime I want, I can just gaze upon it. I really love it. So for the Magician, I chose, this one is not, the thing about this practice of choosing cards to choosing songs to represent each card in the major arcana is that it's going to be a highly personal thing a lot of the time. Like for me, White Pepper Ice Cream by Chibo Mato is not going to make sense to anyone else, but to me it does. Do you want to hear my crazy my crazy association for why this is the Magician card? If I were to make my own tarot deck, just for me, just for myself, the Magician would be renamed Mixtress, the Mixtress, because that's kind of how I identify that energy. It's somebody that makes a mix, and in the sense that somebody that makes a mix, which is me, highly personal association here, I have put this song, White Pepper Ice Cream, it is my favorite song of all time, and I have put this song on more mixes than any other song ever. And it's a headphone song. So if you have a chance to listen to this song on my mix, if you feel like listening to it, if you listen to it with headphones, you really do have a sensory experience. It's not really ASMR, but kind of ASMR. It's ASMR adjacent. And it's really, like, you do get a sense of experiencing all of your senses. So that kind of ties into all four elements in the Magician card. There's really no point in me reading any of the lyrics, even though I did copy some down, because the lyrics really do not match the Magician. It's more the feeling, the sensory experience of listening to the song for me and the associations with Mixtress that I have with the energy of Mixtress. You know, it's kind of a drag persona for me, mixtressrae, you know, using my middle name, which I don't use in my day-to-day life. But anyway, let's go on to the High Priestess. So my favorite High Priestess card is from Santa Muerte Tarot. I just think every time I look at this image, it's just, it takes my breath away. I love her little companion up here. I don't know if that's like, in my mind it's a pterodactyl. It's probably not. It's probably like a bat or something, which I love bats too. But for some reason I just want it to be a pterodactyl, so it is in my mind. And her gorgeous throne with the crescent. It has all of the elements of the Rider-Waite-Smith High Priestess, but it's just, her pillars are candles. It's, I can't with this image. I could stare at it for hours. It's probably my favorite card in the Santa Muerte Tarot. I don't know, there's a lot of favorites though in that deck. So I chose 16 Psyche by Chelsea Wolfe. This one feels like a little bit of a stretch. This is one that I could see being changed out later on, but I did want my High Priestess card to be a Chelsea Wolfe song. So if I trade it out for something else, it might just be a different Chelsea Wolfe song. But the lyrics that I had down for this representation, I can't, she said. I'd save you, but I can't. I'd save you, but the world's bent, she said. I'd save you, but I can't. And it just, that sort of reminded me, that sort of I'd save you, but I can't, in this context sort of reminded me of how, you know, the High Priestess holds the key in her hands. She holds all of the knowledge of the universe in her hands, but she's not going to hand you that book. She's not going to give you that key. She's not going to tell you any of the fucking answers because you have to find them for yourself. They're all within you. I'd save you, but I can't. So my favorite Empress is, this one was sort of a distorted image. When it scanned in, it didn't, like, it stretched it in a weird way. But my favorite Empress is from Gothmancy Tarot. This is a representation, kind of, I mean, it doesn't really look like her, but the song inspiration, because there's a song inspiration for every card in the Gothmancy Tarot, is, I think, Cloud Busting by Kate Bush. But, so this is kind of supposed to be a representation of Kate Bush, I think, but it's my favorite Empress card. I love that she has a little Libra symbol on her chest. I don't know if you can tell from here. You probably can't. But because the Empress card isn't traditionally associated with Libra, but it is associated with Venus, which is the ruling planet of Libra. So it just kind of, because I have Libra in like freaking 6 places in my chart or something. But so I just really love this image. Anyway, that's all. I just love this image. So the song that I chose for the Empress is Protection by Massive Attack, because I think of both, this is kind of a new association for me, but both the Emperor and the Empress to me are supposed to be people that you go to for protection, that you go to for, not necessarily that you go to for guidance, but that you go to for love and protection. So I decided to go with that theme for both of the songs for the Emperor and the Empress. So Protection by Massive Attack is, I use it in spell work. I really do think it is a song that invokes protection. So, I don't have no fear, I'll take on any man here who says that's not the way it should be. I stand in front of you, take the force of the blow, protection. I'll stand in front of you, take the force of the blow, protection. So yeah, that's the vibe that I want for my Empress, for sure. My favorite Emperor card is from the Field Tarot. I love when an Emperor is represented by an animal. Yeah, I still struggle with seeing depictions of masculinity in decks. I'm so much better about it, but when it comes to my Emperor card, I do still prefer it to be like an animal energy or something like that. So again, I chose, just protection, just sort of a level of protection as my theme for my Emperor song choice. So I chose Fortress by Queens of the Stone Age. I pray you won't feel alone. ugh, I pray you won't feel as alone as I have felt. I don't want you to fail, so I tell you the awful truth. Everyone faces darkness on their own, as I have done, so will you. And you can sort of hear, like, the Emperor saying that. You know, if you're thinking about the Fool's Journey, the Emperor saying that to you, the Fool, as you're going through the major arcana. You know, you're about to face some darkness, dude. And you gotta go through it. Every fortress falls. It is not the end. It ain't if you fall, but how you rise that says who you really are. So get up and come through. If ever your fortress caves, you're always safe in mine. Ooh, I love it. My favorite Hierophant is from Dark Wood Tarot. And I love this, like, as above, so below, the crossed keys. You're a dryad tree creature. She even has, like, a little, like, shawl made out of, like, twigs or something. I love it. I just love, and I love that she actually looks like, you know, they played into, like, old lady as tree kind of vibe here. I just think that's great. And she's got piles and piles of books behind her as well. And she's got two little turtles at the bottom. I don't know if you can see them. You probably can. So I chose A Stroke of Luck by Garbage. Again, this is kind of a personal association. The lyrics don't necessarily make sense in context of the Hierophant, whatever, however you're supposed to say that. Again, I would really encourage you, if you're into tarot, to do this for yourself. Make these associations for yourself. Make yourself a playlist. And the cool thing about making a tarot playlist is that when you shuffle it, you're picking a card. So this is a totally free way to experience tarot. You know, you're creating your own music associations. This is not something that, you know, since I'm so focused on, like, not buying into the capitalism aspect of tarot, not the capitalism aspect of tarot, the capitalism aspect of our current society and how you can just be drawn into buying all the things. But this is a personal association for me because I used to date this guy in, like, it was like junior high school or something. And this was his study song. He wanted to listen to this song, like, right before he headed into a study session. And for some reason, he didn't have it. So he would call me and he would ask me to play this song for him, just over the phone. And so it just reminds me of a study song. I just created that association with this song. So it does kind of talk about religious themes, and there's a lot of questions in the song. So in that sense, it does kind of match. But anyway, here are some of the lyrics. A stroke of luck or a gift from God, the hand of fate or devil's claws. From below or saints above, you came to me. You say that you'll be there to catch me, or will you only try to trap me? These are the rules I make. Our chains were meant to break. You'll never change me. Actually, now that I look at the lyrics, I'm like, no, this totally fits, because the way that I see Hierophant energy is about questions. It's about questioning authority. It's about questioning what you're being taught spiritually. It's the phase that we're all in right now, because collectively we're in a Hierophant year. I think this actually does match, and this song has kind of the vibe, the atmosphere in this song for me feels kind of magical, kind of spiritual. Yeah, totally. Y'all probably know my favorite lover's card from Marigold Tarot. It's just the fact that they're just, like, looking into each other's souls. So I chose Into Dust by Mazzy Star. This is again, it's not really the lyrics with this song, it's more the vibe. This song is just a very sexy, very, very much, yeah, just sort of you don't know where you end and the other begins kind of thing. So you can see that in a lovey way. Usually the way that I view the lover's card is kind of in the sense of we're all the same, that sort of thing. We're all made of the same star stuff. We are all equal, that kind of stuff. So here are some of the lyrics. It was you, breathless and torn. I could feel my eyes turning into dust, and two strangers turning into dust. Two strangers turning into dust. I love it. I love it. My favorite Chariot card is from Wild Unknown. This was actually like a really close tie between this one and the Moon Power Tarot, because that's the one where like it's a chick riding on the back of a rat, and just it makes me laugh so much. But this one is better for like a representation. I like that this one is the horse. The focus is the horse, and like his hair is being blown back, and the moon on the forehead. I just love this card. So for Chariot, I chose Control by Janet Jackson. And because that's sort of taking the reins of your life into your own hands. It could have just as easily been Fighter by Christina Aguilera, Stronger by Britney Spears. Like, those were kind of also just those sort of like, I think of the Chariot as pop divas taking emotional control of their lives for like the first time, you know? So this is a story about control, my control of what I say, control of what I do, and this time I'm gonna do it my way. Love it, love it. I also almost chose Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation for Emperor. Sorry, this is a very long and rambly video, but you guys knew that was going to happen, right? My favorite strength card is from Lost Hollow Tarot. I just love this sort of, just the exchange of love between, you know, the animal self and the human self, and the little crow watching over. This just gives me, I have Lost Hollow in my Purgatory drawer right now because I really don't use that deck very much. But this card, just seeing it right now, I'm like, no, I can't get rid of Lost Hollow, but I can't keep it because of one card. I mean, there are other cards that I love in that deck as well, but anyway, that's not what you're here to talk about. So for strength, I chose, this is one that I'm not totally married to the idea of this song choice, but for now, I chose Some People by Goldfrapp, because this song is about how different people cope in the world. So I do think it matches a strength energy. I just don't think it's perfect. So here are some of the lyrics. Some people find it hard to get dressed. Some people live in a life. Some people need more than a slice. But when it fades, when the glitter's gone, you know it. You owe it to yourself. You won't let it make you mad. It's already crazy. Sorry, I want to say that again. You won't let it make you mad. It's already crazy. So I do think that matches with strength. You won't let it make you mad. It's already crazy. Like, you've already made your peace with how fucking terrible the world is. It's all right. You're going to be okay. That's what strength kind of is for me. Some people don't get much. Some people feel they're in touch with spirit worlds. Talking to you now. My favorite Hermit card is from White Newman Tarot. I just love the gorgeous moose energy. He's going out into the world with his lantern. He knows everything he needs to know. He's ready to go on a journey by himself. He has everything he needs. I love it. I chose Extraordinary Machine by Fiona Apple. This is probably one of my top 5 songs of all time. I had to pick a Fiona Apple song for the Hermit card. That was never a question. It had to be her. She is my lyrical soulmate. Okay, just gonna read some of the lyrics from Extraordinary Machine. I'm to try not to sing them. I still only travel by foot, and by foot it's a slow climb. But I'm good at being uncomfortable, so I can't stop changing all the time. I notice that my opponent is always on the go, and won't go slow so as not to focus, and I notice he'll hitch a ride with any guide as long as they go fast from whence he came, but he's no good at being uncomfortable, so he can't stop staying exactly the same. If there was a better way to go, then it would find me. I can't help it, the road just rolls out behind me. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about these lyrics right now, guys. Be kind to me or treat me mean. I'll make the most of it. I'm an extraordinary machine. Oh, I don't know if this is, I mean, I think it's Hermit energy just because Fiona Apple is Hermit energy. But the lyrics, I mean, this is more just like I'm picking my favorite Fiona Apple song to represent the Hermit card. That's mostly what this energy is for me personally. Matt, thank you so much for making me do this. For making me sit down and focus on this. Like, seriously, like as soon as this video, I saw it last Monday, and I just immediately became obsessed. I spent several days on the playlist and just getting everything right and narrowing down which lyrics I wanted to read to you guys. And then I just had to wait because I was working so much this week. I had to wait a long time before I could actually make the video. So anyway, here we are. My favorite Wheel of Fortune card is from Wild Unknown. This was one of the first decks that I learned tarot with, and this Wheel of Fortune card is what informed how I view the Wheel of Fortune. I feel like this card is saying that this little owl created this world. It's their world. Everything that comes back around, if you imagine this world turning, every bramble, every piece of thread, it's all built by that owl. Everything in your life that comes and hits you, you built it. You set the karma in motion. That sounds kind of victim blamey almost, but I don't mean it in that way. I mean it in the way that the things that you can control, that's the karma that you're going to deal with, you know? What you put out comes back. The energy you put out comes back. And I see that in this imagery. And you've got like the moon and the sun, so you see that like sort of that sense of the passing of time. This one has been my association for the Wheel card for as long as I can remember. This might have been the first song association I picked for the tarot. It might have been one of the very first, and it's Life's Rich Tapestry by Modern English. I believe in life's rich tapestry and all it gives to me. I believe in life's rich tapestry and all it takes from me. That's it. I mean, I put other lyrics on there, but I don't even think I need to read those. I believe in life's rich tapestry and what it gives to me. I believe in life's rich tapestry and what it takes from me. There you go. That's it. That's the Wheel of Fortune to me. My favorite Justice card is from Shadowscapes Tarot. I would recommend, if you have Shadowscapes Tarot and you have access to a photo scanner, scan that baby in, because you can really, like, especially if it's a good quality photo scanner. I used the photo scanner that I have at the library, so your local library might have something like this as well. But I recommend it because you can really get in there with the artwork, because it's very detailed, beautiful artwork, and so it's great to be able to see it big as your computer screen, you know what I mean? But anyway, I love this card. It's got the Ma'at energy that I like to see in a Justice card, and it's just so peaceful and balanced. And I just feel like I could go to this person. I could absolutely go to this person and be like, look, here's what's happening, and justice would be exacted. Or, you know, either way, whether I'm in the wrong or not, like, this person's going to judge fairly. I just feel that from her. So the song that I chose for Justice is Policy of Truth by Depeche Mode. So it's kind of like looking at justice from a different viewpoint, from the viewpoint that you are in the wrong. So this isn't always going to be applicable to the Justice card depending on your situation, but I think it definitely makes sense, and I had to have a Depeche Mode song. I had to. So, yeah. You had something to hide. Should have hidden it, shouldn't you? Now you're not satisfied with what you're being put through. It's just time to pay the price for not listening to advice and deciding in your youth on the policy of truth. Things could be so different now. It used to be so civilized. You will always wonder how it could have been if you'd only lied. It's too late to change events. It's time to face the consequence for delivering the proof in the policy of truth. So this one, like, it's more of a personal association, actually, for me, because there are a few times in my life where this song has really, it has been applicable to me. Whether or not in one time, I cheated on somebody. And he was out of town, and I said to myself, okay, I have two choices. Either when he comes back, I can tell him, and we can figure out what to do from here, talk it out, or I can just break up with him and never tell him. And I chose to break up with him and never tell him, which is very weird for me because I really am that child that chose the policy of truth. And it's something that I feel weird about to this day. And there was another situation, I won't go into this one, but there was another situation where I was sort of talked into a grandiose lie in order to benefit me. And I took that advice. And I'm not a good liar. I do not choose to lie. But the few instances in my life where I chose to lie, this song just, it reminds me of those specific instances in my life. And how do I feel about the policy of truth? In general, I feel like the policy of truth is a good idea for me, because I hold it with me forever when I've told someone a lie. And I don't like it. I don't like it. And it was always like anytime I ever chose to lie about something, it was coming from a good place, but just reminding me, just being confronted with like the energy of Dave Gahan, which I realize Martin Gore probably wrote these lyrics because he wrote most of the lyrics, but just Dave Gahan just gives me like this gross, he just seems like, I love Depeche Mode, but he just seems like a sleazy dude that you would not trust. And so hearing these words come out of his mouth just reminds me that I don't want to be a liar. If that makes sense. Anyway, I'm going to pause this so I can go get a refill of my coffee, and I will be right back. Okay. Hanged One. My favorite Hanged One is from Dark Wood Tarot. I love the bat energy and the fact that it's just kind of like a beautiful vampire chick hanging out with her bat. You don't get the feeling that like hanging upside down is going to kill her or anything like that. She's just checking out a new perspective, a different view on the world. So I am totally stealing this from Matt because I really liked his song association for this card, which is Suspended in Gaffa by Kate Bush. In the past, this is a really important Kate Bush song to me. I had associated Suspended in Gaffa with Eight of Swords, but hearing him explain why he chose it for Hanged One, definitely check out his video. If I didn't mention it already, it will be linked in the description. But this is perfect. It's perfect for Hanged One. It is about, yeah. They've told us unless we can prove that we're doing it, we can't have it all. We can't have it all. Suddenly my feet are feet of mud. It all goes slow-mo. I don't know why I'm crying. Am I suspended in Gaffa? Not until I'm ready for you can I have it all. And it's this just feeling of waiting. Like it's kind of a feminist anthem. They keep telling us if we can do it, if we can do everything, then we can have everything. They keep telling us. It's like a glass ceiling sort of song in some ways. Just waiting. We're waiting patiently to actually be treated with respect. It's an interesting association with Hanged One, but this is an important song to me. And I do think whenever I do the minor arcana, that Eight of Swords is going to become Fiona Apple's Fetch the Bolt Cutters. So once that song existed, it kind of replaced Suspended in Gaffa, but I knew it needed to go somewhere, so thank you, Matt, for giving me the perfect place to put it. My favorite death card is from Santa Muerte. I just love the sort of visual representation of like Death is pregnant with future life. Not only did death take your life, but death brings life as well. Death is the bringer and taker of life. Somehow I never fucking noticed until this exact moment, there's like this little creature down here. What is happening? It scares me. It's kind of like a snake head or something. Interesting. And she's got the hourglass and the scythe. And she's in this sort of like vaginal archway that is reminiscent of like Mother Mary imagery. So I like that sort of addition of the kind of like forgiving goddess energy in general. Yeah, I just love it. I love it so much. This is one that I have listed on here, 2 songs. Because I was thinking of These Hope by Peter Gabriel from Passion of the Christ, or Passion of the Christ? Last Temptation of Christ. Those are 2 very different movies. Peter Gabriel did the score for The Last Temptation of Christ. So that song, Of These Hope, I don't know if I'm going to put it on the playlist or not because it's going to confuse people. It's going to add an extra song. But in my own personal, when I put this on a tape, which of course I will, this song is going to be the intro for me to the death energy. And then my association is Dead Heaven. Dead Heaven by Gary Newman. This one's kind of a stretch. It doesn't really make sense, but it is about someone that's sort of walking through an afterworld or underworld space. So here are some of the lyrics. This is my favorite Gary Newman song of all time. It is from Exile, the album. I had the version that was called Exile Extended whenever it came out in like the late 90s. And it's just the most goth album. I mean, not the most goth, but it's very goth. It has a very like resonant ASMR gothic landscape atmosphere, all the things. Okay, here are some lyrics. Thought I was asleep, lost to dreams. I was dying in a big machine. Didn't think the voice that called me could be real. Thought I saw blood turn to wine, a vision from the angel wars. Didn't think I'd find the savior in the dark. Blessed is dead heaven, blessed are shadows and pain. Blessed is dead heaven, blessed is death in his name. So it's definitely like the lyrics are talking about death, but this is one that I could see myself maybe changing in the future. My favorite temperance card is from Desert Illuminations because I personally see the temperance card as being a forgiving goddess energy. And I don't necessarily have a personal relationship with Lady of Guadalupe, but I do see this as a representation of the type of energy that I view temperance through, if that makes sense. So I wanted a song that I wanted the most spiritual song that I personally enjoy, and it is called Iman by Niaz. I don't know if you can see how this text, but I'll highlight it in case that helps. I did not put any of the lyrics. They are in a language that I don't speak. I think it is based on a prayer, but that's not really important to me. Because I think I looked it up once, like the translation of the lyrics, and it reminded me too much of like a hymn or something like that. So I kind of went away from that because I'm like, no, my experience with this song without knowing what the words mean is very spiritual. This is the opening track on my witchual playlist, as in witch mixed with the word ritual. It doesn't sound cute when you say it out loud, but it's my own personal like spell working playlist, and this is the opening track to that playlist because it really puts me in that sort of spiritual and meditative state. So that's why I chose this as my temperance song. Oh, I think I have to click back on this. My favorite devil card is, and actually it was kind of a tie between Mystic Mondays, which is this image, and also Wild Unknown, which is like a goat with its hooves on fire. It's super cute. I like sort of a cheeky devil card, but this one also makes sense to me because, you know, the devil is within. The devil is inside your head. It is your thoughts. Your enemy are your thoughts, baby. Yeah, I think this is a great devil card. So I picked Welcome to the Internet by Bo Burnham because I really do think that it makes total sense, just the entirety of the lyrics, but I'm just going to read you a little bit of the lyrics. Could I interest you in everything, all of the time? A little bit of everything, all of the time. Apathy's a tragedy and boredom is a crime. Anything and everything, all of the time. So this also kind of reminds me of back when the internet was first, like, showing up in our worlds in the 90s. My mom refused to let us get the internet at home for the longest time because she kept saying, the internet's evil. The internet's the devil. No, no, no. She was very, very against it. And, like, for decades, I was like, God, my mom is so silly. She thinks the internet is evil. But now I'm coming back around to, oh, it is. Maybe it is. Maybe it is the devil. So, yeah, I don't think I'll change this one. I think this one's perfect for the devil card for me personally. My favorite tower card is from Serpent Fire Tarot. This particular imagery reminds me of, for those of y'all that love Buffy, you might think of this moment, you might be able to visualize it. Remember in The Gift, whenever Buffy and Dawn are at the top of that tower, and she's looking out over the horizon and she sees sort of like this hopeful, it looks like this image, essentially, kind of. So I love this as a tower card because, like, there's a little bit of hope built into it. It's not, like, completely 100% destructive. The song association for me is very personal because my personal tower moment is a huge tornado that destroyed my town and my home and the homes of a lot of people that I knew and loved. So at that time, I associated Kesha's blow with the tornado. So this is a personal association. It doesn't necessarily make sense as a tower card, but I'll read some of the lyrics for you. Back door cracked, we don't need a key. We get in for free, no VIP sleaze. Drink that Kool-Aid, follow my lead. Now you're one of us, you're coming with me. It's time to kill the lights and shut the DJ down. This place about to blow. Tonight we're taking over, no one's getting out. This place about to blow. And I specifically chose the Circuit remix that is on her, like, remix album that's called I Am the Dance Commander, I Command You to Dance. Because it's just fucking chaos. That song is chaos and dubstep, and it's kind of irritating, but it really does sound like a moment where everything is exploding. And yeah, in the context of the song, it's like happy dance explosions, but I associate it with that time in my life because that song came out like right before I think the tornado happened in 2011. So that's just a personal association. Okay, I copied the entire lyrics for my star card. So my favorite star card is from Darkwood Tarot. And I chose the Prayer of St. Francis of Assisi, which is sung by Sarah McLachlan. This is an association, it's basically another Buffy association, because this depiction of this prayer done by Sarah McLachlan in song format is plays at the very end of season 6 as they're like literally crawling out of a grave. Buffy and Dawn are crawling out of a grave. So their tower moment was like the entirety of season 6 honestly. And this is that moment for me of like when hope is reintroduced into your life after a really tragic phase. So I'm going to read the entire lyrics because even though this is like a religious thing, and I'm definitely not a God type religious person at all, I just think that this is really, really beautiful. Just as a sentiment, it's really beautiful. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. Not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it's in dying that we are born to eternal life. But I just like the, it's in dying that we are born. And this is another one that, like, for my personal mixtape, I will probably have 2 songs. It's going to be the Prayer of St. Francis, and then it's going to head into Headphones by Björk. But I probably won't put that on the playlist just because I don't want to confuse people if there's more songs than there needs to be. They'll be like, is this Star or like what's, I don't want to confuse people, but in my own personal mixtape, it will have Headphones after it, so I'm going to read you some of the lyrics from Headphones. Genius to fall asleep to your tape last night, so warm, sounds go through muscles, these abstract wordless movements, waking up slowly. My headphones, they saved my life. Your tape, it lulled me to sleep, to sleep, to sleep. So the reason why I chose that to also associate with the Star card is that I think it's almost like the response. It's almost like this Prayer of St. Francis was the thing that Björk was listening to on her tape. I see that song, it's one of my very favorite Björk songs. It possibly is my favorite Björk song, but I like the sentiment that I almost feel like it's after a night where she was thinking of ending everything, you know? And just putting in this tape and listening to it on her Walkman and it lulling her to sleep, she's literally associating it with saving her life. And so she's woken up the next morning, and that's a very Star card moment to me. So both of those songs, like, I can't choose between them, but most likely I'll just have the Sarah McLachlan version, because it's the one that I think other people could most closely associate with the Star card. My favorite moon card is from Shadowscapes Tarot. I love it so much. The first time I did what some people call path working, like I imagine myself stepping into the scene and looking around, I just had the most vivid experience with this card in particular. So it feels like this card is a specific place that I can go. It is just, like, if you really want to get into all the details of any of the Shadowscapes cards, honestly, this one is, like, there's a lot to see here. She's in the middle of a fairy ring. She's wearing a mask, but she's also looking at a mask that she just took off. So there are layers to her masks. She's holding, like, her heart in her hand and keeping it separate. There's just so much to see here. So this one is, I think this one's very definitive for me. This one's not going to change. And it is A Forest by The Cure. Because this song is about, you know, him chasing down a girl in the forest. And by the end of the song, he realizes that she was never there. So, you know, it's that sort of confronting illusions in the dark kind of moon energy. So I'll read you some of the lyrics. Come closer and see into the trees. Find the girl while you can. Come closer and see into the dark. Just follow your eyes. I hear her voice calling my name. The sound is deep in the dark. I hear her voice and start to run into the trees. Suddenly I stop, but I know it's too late. I'm lost in a forest, all alone. The girl was never there. It's always the same. I'm running towards nothing. Again and again and again and again. And he actually repeats again, the word again, 21 times because I've counted. And for some reason that feels significant to me because, you know, I mean, technically there's 22 cards in the Major Arcana, including the Fool, but you know what I'm saying. It feels like the cycle of the tarot is coming to a close. I don't know. It feels like a ritual, sort of like a magical, I don't know. I love The Cure. It's my favorite band of all time, so it had to be on here somewhere. The Sun. Okay. Just a little disclaimer, no one else is going to give a shit about this disclaimer, but I could not find the version of this song that is the version that I grew up with. Okay, first of all, my favorite sun card is from Children of Letha Tarot. I love that this is the goddess Bast because she is a sun goddess. And I just love that. She's holding a little glowing ball of yarn and she's got perfect boobs. I just love it. It makes me happy. I do not really enjoy a sun card that has a child on a horse. I mean, I can deal with it because a lot of decks have that, but this is preferable to not have a child on a horse, for me personally. But, okay, my song association is Holiday for Strings. So this is like, you know, a piece of music that's been played by a lot of different orchestras over the years. So the one that you're going to hear in the Spotify playlist, and I'm assuming I'm not going to be able, I'm going to look as hard as I can to find, I don't even know who did the version that I have from my childhood that I digitized, you know, many, many, many moons ago, but it's important to me that I get the right one, and it's important that you know that the one that you're going to hear is not right, but it's okay. Anyway, the reason why I chose this song, there are no lyrics, is because this song reminds me, it is technically, I think it's supposed to be a Christmas song. I do have it on my Christmas playlist, but this song reminds me of ferrets. It reminds me of the energy of ferrets bouncing around. And if there is any creature that is, my personal tagline for the Sun card is pure joy and sunshine every waking moment. So if there is any creature that is pure joy and sunshine every waking moment, it is a ferret. So this song reminds me of the energy of ferrets bouncing around. So that's my personal association with the Sun card. So there you go. Judgment. This one was hard, but because it's like reading the lyrics to this song is not going to make sense. First of all, my favorite Judgment card is from Darkwood Tarot. I love this energy of, like, she's not...
What are you going to do today, Napoleon?
Whatever I feel like I want to do. Gosh.
Sorry, that is my reminder. I had to keep my phone on because a friend is going to, I need to get her keys to her house because she's coming back in town sometime soon, so I couldn't turn my notifications off in case she calls me. But that's just a reminder for a tarot reading I need to do for someone. Okay. So I love the idea that she is going to die and be reborn as a vampire. I love that as a Judgment card. I love it so much. There are many other Judgment cards that I love. I'm kind of picky about Judgment cards. I really don't like the RWS style, like people rising from coffins, but I do enjoy the nod to that energy in this card because they're in a graveyard. And there are, like, you know, hands coming up from the soil. But, okay, so the lyrics don't really make sense. I mean, they do, but this is a song that you have to hear. You will get the Judgment energy from this song, and it is Waking the Witch by Kate Bush. This is one of my very favorite songs of all time. This song is about a witch being, like, burned at the stake, essentially. You know, you get, the whole song is an interplay between the witch, Kate Bush, crying out, asking for people to help her, and all the people around her are condemning her instead. They're calling her guilty. They are, you know, telling her that, you know, they're responsible for her actions. They have to kill her, you know, basically. That is, and she's calling herself a blackbird. Help this blackbird, help this blackbird. So in my mind, she is a witch that's trying to turn herself into a blackbird so she can fly away from this situation. Anyway, this song is so important to me. It's very much a judgment moment. If you haven't heard it before, I mean, I would recommend it, but it's definitely like, Kate Bush is not for everyone. I understand that, but she is one of my top fives. I love her so, so much. And this song is absolutely a judgment moment because you're hearing someone dying, but you're hearing someone transform at the same time. Because I think that she is turning herself into a blackbird during this song. Yeah, it's that whole Hounds of Love album is just... it's everything. The song right after this song on the album is called Watching Me Without You, and it really continues the storyline because it's about a person coming back as a ghost and haunting her, like, former lover. Like, can you feel me here? You know, that kind of energy. And so that reinforces for me that this judgment moment, because that album it's a concept album for sure. It is a life and death cycle of a witch. And so this is the moment where she dies. In the judgment moment, Waking the Witch is the moment where she dies. She becomes this blackbird in the afterlife almost. So she didn't escape the situation. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting really into it. Okay. World card. We're at the end finally, guys. What has it been, like an hour? Something like that. Y'all know how I do. My favorite world card is from Shadowscapes Tarot. I'm kind of picky about world cards. I want them to feel like energy flowing. Sorry, that is the tornado siren. Not because we have one. Let me turn this off so you don't have to hear it. Okay. For those of y'all that don't live in the Midwest where tornadoes are rampant, we have like a test for the sirens every Wednesday at 10 a.m. So that's what time it is. In like the off season. Like, I don't think they don't usually test it whenever we're in the middle of tornado season because, you know, people might take it seriously. But anyway, that's what that was. Okay. I just love the sort of like, I want to see like energy flowing. I want to see dancing. I want to see movement in a world card. And you really get the sense of that in this card. It's very beautiful. Like, you get sort of the hint of the next world, the next thing that you're going to go towards in the distance. But, you know, she's also like looking back at what she's just accomplished by holding that world in her hands. So no question, the world is I Feel Love by Donna Summer. This is maybe just more of a personal association because like the only lyric in the song is I feel love over and over and over. And I always use the 12-inch version. For kids that don't know, 12-inch is like the bigger record, the longer version of the song. It's like 8 minutes long. It's one of the very first like sort of techno adjacent songs. It is beautiful. My very first experience with this song was I had like a Just Dance Wii game, and this was one of the songs that you could like dance to it. I'm gonna try to find that version for my YouTube playlist because it's just, I had this magical experience dancing to this song the very first time I ever heard it. And it's just this gorgeous space odyssey of a song, and it's about love. It's about dancing, and it's about love, and it's about celebrating. Like, it is a world completion energy, I think. So there you go. That is my super long explanation for all the songs that are in my Major Arcana playlist. Huge thank you to Matt for making me do this. I am so happy that I did. And it's a great exercise. Like, I highly recommend that you do this for yourself, because my song associations likely aren't going to work for you the way that they work for me. But if they do, you are welcome to follow the playlist and listen to it as much as you want. And it will likely change every once in a while. Because I'm sure someday I will find a song that's like, oh, no, this is the magician, you know, or whatever. But anyway, I hope that you guys have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye.